we want to solve the quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. In here we have the quadratic formula, which is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. Well, in order for the quadratic formula to work, the first thing is one side of the equation has to be equal to 0. So here we have example 2. What we're going to do first is we're going to subtract 33 from both sides of the equation. And then we're going to end up with x squared minus 8x minus 33 is equal to 0. And then at this point, we can identify a, b, and c based off of the coefficients and the constant. So a is equal to 1, b is equal to negative 8, and c is equal to negative 33. Then we can substitute those values into the equation, into the quadratic formula, and we can figure out where the solutions will be for this parabola. So x equals negative b, which is negative 8, plus or minus, we're going to have the square root of b squared, which is negative 8 squared, minus 4 times a times c, which is negative 33. That's all has to be under the square root. And then we can divide by 2 times a, which is 1. Then we have to perform our operations to simplify. So here we have negative times a negative. Really important that, especially when our b value is negative, that we use those parentheses there so we don't forget about that original negative sign that's in front of the b. So here we get x equals 8 plus or minus the square root of 64. Negative 8 squared is 64. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. And negative 4 times 33 is 132, which is positive. So plus 132, and that's all over 2. Then we can keep working from there. So then we get x is equal to 8 plus or minus the square root of 64 plus 132 is 196 divided by 2. And then we can take the square root of 196, and we get 14 underneath the radical. So we get x is equal to 8 plus or minus 14 divided by 2. Now we have to account for both the plus and the minus there. So what we have to do is we have to say x equals 8 plus 14 divided by 2. And we also have to do x equals 8 minus 14 divided by 2. So 8 minus 14 is negative 6 divided by 2. So x is going to be equal to negative 3 there. And 8 plus 14 is 22 divided by 2. That's x equals 11 there. So those would be our two solutions. And then we can check out what it looks like on the graph. We can see that we have negative 3, 0 there as a solution. And we can see that we have 11, 0 there as a solution.